Creed 2, an incredibly epic and moving film that wraps everything up so nicely that I'm really worried about Creed 3, because where is there for the story to go? Now, in some ways it is a bit familiar, it's not a completely perfect film. There are a lot of the same story beats as some of the other Rocky sequels, like Creed's wife having pregnancy complications is very similar to how Rocky's wife was in a coma while she was pregnant. And they also have the son of Drago from Rocky IV be the villain. But in some ways, I can also kind of appreciate that. Like, I enjoyed Rocky IV because it was fun. But it is not a high-quality film. And a lot of people say the same thing. It's certainly not even close to being one of the better movies in the franchise. But that's kind of why I appreciate them bringing Drago back. We're still going to treat one of the weaker films in the franchise as part of the story. Because a lot of franchises like to ignore some of the entries that weren't as well received. So I appreciate them still acknowledging one of the franchise's mistakes and going with it. And Drago's son is one of the best villains in this franchise. He is bloodthirsty and motivated by revenge, all because his father blames Rocky for his own failures in life. And it's because Drago lost the match against Rocky that his wife left him and his son, and so Drago's son has thought of nothing but revenge for decades, and he's going to exact that revenge by going against Rocky's protege. That is great character writing, that is exciting, and man, he is vicious. This has to be one of the most brutal fights in the franchise. Holy cow, it was brutal. Now, all the boxing stuff aside, and how does it fit with the characters, I do like where it takes the characters of Creed and Rocky, because they each help the other, and by the end of the movie, it provides a very satisfying emotional payoff. The way this movie wraps up is so well done. Like I said, I am skeptical about Creed 3, because this wraps up so well, and I have no idea how they can continue this. But I also said that about Rocky Balboa. After I finished that one, I'm like, well, I guess it makes sense to do a movie about Creed's son then, because this brought Rocky's arc to a pretty good character closure, but yet they still managed to find a way to continue Rocky's story in these movies too. So, and honestly, even if this was the last movie, even if they weren't doing Creed 3, and even if this were the last movie of the franchise, I'd be fine with that, because that's how nicely it closes up. It's payoff to over 40 years of films, and has an incredibly powerful moving story. Creed 2 for me gets an A, 9 out of 10, and 4 out of 5 stars.